Hey, this is Conan O'Brien, and you're listening to New Rock 1021.
The best band in morning radio.
Oh, they are. Come on.
Conan have the best band in the late night TV?
Oh, Max Weinberg? Oh, yeah.
It's Justus and Friends, New Rock 1021, 803. Conan O'Brien.
How you doing?
Flawless. How are you, sir?
Excellent.
Welcome to the Milwaukee airwaves.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
We're holding your brand new CD live from 6A, Conan O'Brien. Do you dance to that at home?
Yes, I do. I put it on, I get naked, and I dance around. And it's fun. I enjoy it. It loosens me up.
That is fun.
It is.
Now, do you stretch?
Yes, beforehand. You have
hurdlers?
to. God forbid a groin pull.
Hurdlers? Because you're a tall guy. Hurdler stretches?
Yes. You know it. You know what I'm talking about. Got to loosen up.
Now, is it disturbing looking at somebody sometimes as they're sitting next to you in that chair? Do you look at them and go, you disgust me, but then you're trying to conduct an interview? Does that ever happen?
Occasionally. It doesn't happen that often.
Mostly with Andy, or?
Yeah, no.
Now, how many years have you been doing this show?
This is our 5th season.
Wow, is it really?
Yeah, I'm 58 years old now.
So TV not only puts weight on, it puts years on.
Yeah. No, we're in our it's our 5th season. We've been doing it about 4 years and 2 months, something like that.
And you're just tremendously accepted now.
Yeah, it takes a while, but there's something good about that. There's something about the fact that the show and specifically me had to pay some dues for about a year and a half that makes the success now seem a little more substantial. Do you know what I mean? We kind of had to earn it a bit, which is fine. You know, I'll take that.
Do you miss The Simpsons?
I miss writing for some of the characters a little bit. Mr. Burns was a really fun character to write for.
Now, did you write for the ultra-medicated Mr. Burns? I bring you love.
No, I think that's post Conan.
Give me one that you wrote.
Let's see, what did I do? I did the monorail episode.
Oh, nice.
What else did I do? I think I did Homer Goes to College. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was me just getting revenge on all those college movies where the jocks and the nerds battle it out.
Now, as you wake up this morning, what do? Are you grabbing all the papers and seeing what you're going to talk about tonight, or what?
First, a toe to head shave. I have. No, I'm like someone on the luge. You know, there can be no aerodynamic drag when you do a talk show.
Now, let me just think. I bet you're listening to Lover's Lane by the Squirrel Nut Zippers on live from 6A, Conan O'Brien, as you're doing this.
Yes, I am, but it's on very low.
Yes.
It's between that and I alternate between that and anything by Ace of Base. You know, it's just fun. It gets me going in the morning. There's so much like ABBA, yet they're not ABBA.
Where do you live?
I live in Soho in New York City. I live in a building that used to be filled with supermodels, and I'm not kidding.
Until you moved in.
And then I moved in. I swear to God, this is true. This sounds like a joke, but I moved into this building, and this was the building where all the supermodels lived in New York City. And I moved in. 3 of them moved out within a month, and it's unrelated, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
But
different assignments.
But the last holdout is Cindy Crawford, though. Lives down the hall, and occasionally I would see her get on the elevator, and she'd get on too, and I'd be like, "Hi, me on TV," and now she moved. Now she moved out.
Oh
so.
no! But you're going to see her in the hallways. She's going to be doing later. For a bunch of weeks.
Yeah, she did that once, and she's doing it again. Yeah, it's funny because I did see her before she moved out. She was doing later, and I said, "So how are you enjoying that?" And she said, "I don't like the seat. It moves around too much."
So she and Richard did get along.
Exactly, just fine. No mention of gerbils here.
No, because any mole should be removed.
I'm writing that down. And you won't get any money.
Well, good. And I'd ask you to give us the Jackie Gleason lounge wink tonight, but it's a repeat with David Bowie.
Yeah. What, tonight?
Tonight is, yeah.
No.
Really?
No, tonight's original.
You better call your people because it's in our paper and on the internet that it's a repeat tonight.
No, that's crap. Why would it say that? It's Friday. It's never a repeat on Friday.
Well, good. Then who's on tonight?
David Bowie. No. I think John Larroquette's on tonight, and I forget who else is on. I usually find out during the monologue. While I'm giving the monologue, they signal me who's on the show. When I announce at the top of the show who's on, I'm reading it for the first time. And sometimes you can actually see in my voice how disappointed I am. I'm like, we got a really great show for you people tonight. Nipsey Russell is here.
As well as Five-ish Finkel.
Right,
Damn.
followed by Five-ish Finkel. But not the Five-ish Finkel from Picket Fences.
Andy's uncle, Five-ish Finkel.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of cool that you scored Andy as a sidekick because I loved him as Kirby, the toy maker who wanted to be ultimately a dentist.
Well, I thought, this puppet needs work. Someone's got to hire this guy.
Now, please, stop making Max touch himself in those homoerotic films that you
know
guys
what's amazing?
do.
What we found out about Max?
That thing? No, let me just quickly keep on this train of thought.
Max on Max?
That thing where, and he was you could see his back moving.
Yeah.
I had a nightmare.
But can I say something? At this point, it's become, what will he say no to? I mean, it really, I'm letting you in on something. Me and the writers are just, we're not going to stop. We'll stop the day he says, guys, no, I have kids, and I was in the E Street Band. I was in the most famous and respected rock band of all time, so no.
Does he bring up Bruce like every other sentence?
No, not so much, although the other night on the show, I think he was getting mad at me because somehow one of the guests started talking about Bruce, and it was Paul Reiser's on the show, and he's saying, yeah, I met the boss once, and I cut him off, and I said, Bruce isn't the boss anymore. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. And pretended to have a sort of a Hitler-esque breakdown. And so I think Max wants me to lay off that. I think it saddens Max that his career arc has been, worked for Bruce Springsteen and then worked for Conan O'Brien. One, a rock icon.
Who does your hair?
Mostly I do it, It's not as crazy as it was the first season.
No.
I had to tone it down a bit.
Did they make you?
No, they
people
didn't
write in, or
they
what?
didn't make me. That was more me because I wanted people to actually start watching the show. Because all I used to get was, what's the deal with your hair? And people would just watch the hair like the way a cat, watches a piece of string. And you couldn't get them to focus on the fact that we were doing comedy and stuff. So there are some nights, like last night, it was kind of high. There's some nights where, it creeps back up again, just for old time's sake.
Any bits you regret doing ever?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Now, how do you do a focus?
I have to do a huge computer search to print them all out.
Hey, will Yahoo search the gaseous wiener?
Yeah, I don't regret the gaseous wiener. I have no regrets there. We did something a couple of months ago where we come back from commercial and Andy and I are sitting at the desk, and I said, Andy, the show's going great these days, but I think a lot of our fans would like to see one of our old numbers. And Andy says, yeah, we haven't done an old number in a while. And I said, let's go do it. We cross over to the performance area, and Max is sitting at the drums dressed up as John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, and I take off all my clothes, and Andy takes off all his clothes, and Andy's dressed as Jimmy Page, complete with bell-bottoms with the weird astrological signs on it. And he's got a guitar with a long fiddle bow. And I take off my clothes, and I'm wearing jeans and no shirt and like a puka shell necklace. And our prop master, Bobby Bowman, who's a guy from Queens, is the bass player. And we do Dazed and Confused, all out, complete with, from that horrible movie that Led Zeppelin did, we cut away to long fantasy sequences where Max is riding a horse with a falcon, and I have a medieval sword battle with George Plimpton, and Andy's climbing a mountain searching for knowledge, and it was just, and we did the whole song, and it was to this day, I mean, I found out that there's a tape of it that's being passed around in L.A., and there's a bootleg copy of it somewhere, and people were really freaked out by it. I think anytime you can really disturb people at 1:45 in the morning, you're doing your job.
Oh, absolutely. This is Conan O'Brien with us. Now, Conan, if you could clone any celebrity and then give them away on your show, who could you wish for?
You mean just to spread joy to the world?
Yeah.
I really think Norm Macdonald is hilariously funny.
I'd love my own Norm.
Yeah, he's one of those people who he comes on the program and even saying, if I ask him, how was your summer? Him just saying, I had a really good summer makes me laugh. 'Cause it's the way he says it. It's just, there's something wrong with him.
There really is.
Like, how was your summer, Norm? I had a really good summer. Yeah, really good. You know what I like about summer, Conan? What's that, Norm?
Yeah.
It's just before fall, summer. And the thing is, like, a part of the audience is like, what's wrong with him? But people, that just happens to hit me. That's what I think is funny. So it's not work for me when he comes on the show.
Now, Letterman, are you buds?
Are we pals? No, not really. I have a good relationship with him, but we don't. I think he's. I mean, I don't know who his friends are, but I think, he's someone that has always treated me with respect, and occasionally I've done bits for his show, and occasionally he's come over and done something on our show. But he's. I would find it hard to be buddies with him because he's kind of he's one of those people that really inspired me to do what I do now during the 80s. So it's kind of I probably put him on a pedestal and comedically. So I would just be nervous if I palled around with him. You know what I mean?
You'd be like the little dog next to the bulldog. Hey, Skippy, where are we going today? Where are we going today, Skippy? Where are we going?
Right. I'd be doing that, and he'd occasionally swat me away.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of swatted him away. You beat him to the punch with your CD.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, we didn't know that they were. It kind of seemed like too good an idea.
Right.
When we were putting this together, we thought, man, I can't believe no one thought of this. And then we found out that he's got one coming out about a month later. But I think ours will certainly have more alternative tracks on it.
Oh, yeah.
They'll probably have more mainstream acts, and there'll be different CDs. So I'm not worried about people deciding which one to buy, because I think if you're into alternative music, you'd probably buy our CD, and if you're interested in this same old crap, you'll buy theirs. Just kidding.
Nice.
Now, yours has Squirrel Nut Zippers on it, Soul Coughing, 311, Edwin Collins, Jonathan Richman, Cake, Elvis Costello, Bjork, and Jamiroquai, Matthew Sweet, David Bowie, and Ani DeFranco.
Right.
Now, were her pits shaved on that show?
No, they weren't.
Did you go, oh, my God, it's Lenny Kravitz? Well, whatever.
No, she had 14-inch braids under her arms.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
When you can braid them and put beads on it, that's pretty bad.
Maybe that's Max's next character on the show.
God.
We'll do it tonight. And you know what? We'll pitch it to Max, and he'll say, okay. He'll just do
it. Has he ever been misty-eyed and semi-liquored up and called you Bruce?
No, not yet. You'd have to be more than drunk to mistake me for Bruce Springsteen,
Well, there's another bit for you, Conan.
Right.
I've been mistaken for Opie, but...
Well, thank you, Conan O'Brien, for spending some time with us.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you guys.
We'll watch you tonight. Are you sure it's live?
Yes, I promise you. Disregard the local paper.
All right.
The local paper contains probably all the news stories in Milwaukee, too, are made up. Does your headline say President Reagan invents jetpack?
I'll actually give you one of our headlines this morning. Dirt eating, a dying tradition.
Wow.
And Conan, if you're
then I was wrong. Maybe it is a repeat tonight.
God bless you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later on.